I find it so hilarious and so shameful that for the past, 18 or so years of social media being a thing, it's definitely shown people's true colors. We've just gone downhill with it, and it shows. Every time I get on it, it shows. And it kind of raises the question, is social media connecting people more, or is it disconnecting people? Hello. Hey there, folks. It is me, your boy, Corey the Jokester, and we are here back again for a brand new episode of Anything and Everything. Yeah, I know, it's been a while. You're just not used to hearing these episodes all spaced out like this. Back in the summer, I used to release them all every Sunday, but ever since dealing with school and work, I just been trying to manage my time, I've just been trying to assimilate myself into my schedule. And I know it hasn't always been easy, but I appreciate those who have taken the time to tune in and listen to these episodes. It truly means a whole lot. I know the last time we spoke, we talked about my experiences in the metaverse, but this time, I would like to talk to you all about some things that we've all been experiencing, some things that we've all been seeing around for many years now. I'm not going to say many as in like ancient times, but, many as far as like going back to, late 2000s, going through the tens up until this point right now. And I'm sure we've all been, like I said, we've all been venturing our way into this online land I like to call social media. Yep, social media. I find it so hilarious and so shameful that for the past, 18 or so years of social media being a thing, it's definitely shown people's true colors. I thought old Zuckerberg had a vision back in 2004. Him and his college buddies, when they designed Facebook, it was designed for people to connect with each other. It was designed for people to improve their social interactions with each other. In the event that they weren't able to be around each other in real life, they could at least interact with each other online. Hence the reason why, online chat rooms became a thing. I feel like people have taken that sense of gravitas for granted. People have taken that idea of being able to connect with people and just basically keep tabs with them. Maybe you can keep tabs with that one family member you don't talk to or you don't see that much, or that one old high school classmate that you haven't seen in a while, But for most people, that's just not the case. That's not the purpose of them using social media. They don't see it like that. And it's sad how over the years we've just gone downhill with it, and it shows. Every time I get on it, it shows. And it kind of raises the question, is social media connecting people more, or is it disconnecting people? Well, if you ask me, I think it's disconnecting people more. Because now we have things like cyberbullying, we have things like clout chasing, we have a lot of these different social issues that we try to provoke on social media. Back then, back in like, let's say, let's not get too ancient with it. Let's go back to at least the 80s. Back in the 80s, people didn't have to worry about Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram. People didn't have to worry about being bullied on the internet for not looking a certain way, not appealing a certain way, not catering to a certain demographic. People didn't have to worry about that back then. But in my generation now, it's nothing but constant internet wars or gender wars, people bullying this person because they don't look like an Ariana Grande, or they don't look like a Beyonce or a Billie Eilish or whatever. It's like people use social media as a way to hide their insecurities, as a way to chase clout. And I feel like people aren't really genuine. They're not genuine. And these social media platforms, they are very guilty of allowing these people to show their true colors. TikTok's notorious for it. Instagram is very notorious for it. Twitter is very notorious. Facebook, it's on and off. Not too many people care about Facebook like that anymore. But what I'm saying is, I feel like one of the reasons why social media is causing a disconnect is because of the fact that everybody wants to look the same. This person wants to look like this person. This person wants to look like that person. Everybody wants to be a Beyonce. Everybody wants to be a Prince Charming. Everybody wants a Disney princess. And you got all of these women and men showing half naked pictures on Instagram and expecting a lot of likes and a lot of comments and heart eyes and, drooling emojis and all these different things in the comment section. People just want to be noticed. That's all it is. That's all these people want to do on social media, is just to be noticed. That's why you have all these influencers out here who aren't really good people in real life. They feel like they're insecure about their own lives in the real world, that they have to put up a front on social media. Nobody's genuine these nowadays. You got all these women posting these big booty pictures and big chested pictures just so they can create simps and create thirst traps, for men to be in the comments and like them up and give them all the attention. And then you have all these men taking their shirts off, showing their abs and showing their calf muscles or their bodies or whatever. And they expect that same attention. They just want the attention. And I feel like it's kind of our faults, because we enable these people. We enable this type of culture, the pretty privilege culture. And I think that it makes people in real life insecure. I know it makes me insecure. I know I'm not the best looking guy in the world, and I'm not the prettiest, I'm not a Prince Charming. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm not trying to compare myself to other men or whatever. I don't care. I'm just me. Look, what you see on my pages, that's what you're going to get. I'm not going to take my shirt off and try to flex, or I'm not going to post a picture of me flexing my arm where women will start drooling. No, I'm not. No. What you see of me is what you get. What you see online is what you're going to get in the real world. That's just me. But not everyone's like that. And you have to be mindful of these people's lifestyles that they so-called portray themselves to have in those pictures, because not all of it's true. Some people can take a picture of themselves in front of a big mansion that's not even theirs. You know what I'm saying? They don't live in that mansion, or they don't own that car. Some people just, they just lie. Some people just try to front to get attention. They're clout chasers, like I said. They want attention. When the cameras are not on them, they will make sure the cameras are on them. Now, that's the Instagram culture. Now, let's get into the Twitter culture. I feel like another reason social media feels so disconnected is because of the fact that people just tweet random things. They just say random things, and They think that, they think they can just say whatever they want and not reap the consequences. But that's not true. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out here that say some outlandish things. Some of them get away with it, some of them don't. And I feel like social media, particularly Twitter in this case, has empowered people to put on their cancel culture armor and go after people that don't really deserve it all as much. And I think that causes a divide. I think that sets people back, and it kind of makes you out to be a hypocrite when you do that, because you're out here trying to call out the wrong people, but here you are, you know, in your life, you can't even get yourself together, and you are just afraid to admit that you have to poke the energy at somebody else. Like, you can't even get your own messed up life together, that you have to just find anyone you spot and just take them out because you feel empowered to do so, because it makes you feel good at night. It makes you sleep well at night. And I think that is probably the worst move you could ever make. Now, people like Andrew Tate or Donald Trump, people like them, yes, cancel them. They're not good people. They're not good men. They're not good role models for the youth to follow. They're not good role models for anyone to follow. So, of course, yeah, I can understand why you would cancel them or would want to. But these other people, there was one instance where there was this show called Paw Patrol. It comes on Nickelodeon. During the protests that happened back in 2020, did you know that a group of people were so angry with the show Paw Patrol that they wanted it canceled because it had a lot of police references in it? Are you serious? Like, really? You were willing to cancel a show or try to cancel a show that dealt with dogs trying to help people? Seriously, like, Jesus Christ. I mean, look, I get it. We were living in bad times back then and still to this day. But come on, man, not everything needs to be canceled. The kids love it. Leave them alone. Let them watch it. It's not bothering them. Shoot, they even made a feature-length movie about it. And I bet you a lot of kids showed up for that. I just feel like Twitter is basically the main hub for cancel culture. That's where they reside. And I just feel like people and this goes back to my first point, people aren't genuine on these apps anymore because they feel like when the attention is not on them, they will do everything in their power to make sure that the attention is on them. And this just sets us back. I thought we were supposed to get on these apps to connect with each other, not bicker and try to, point out every red flag that's probably not even there. Instead of going after the people that really deserve it, you're going after the ones that had nothing to do with that. It's like on these apps now, you say one wrong word, you make one wrong move, your career is over. It's like you're blacklisted. It's like that man, Joseph McCarthy, from back in the 1940s or 50s or whatnot, where this man, his name was Joseph McCarthy. He would accuse people of being a communist. And this was known as the Red Scare, where anybody that was associated with the Communist Party would be blacklisted or would be canceled. And this was back in the 40s, I think during World War II, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I think the 40s or the 50s. This one man, Joseph McCarthy, would accuse so many people of being a communist that he caused them their jobs, he caused them their home lives. Like, people have lost their jobs, they've gotten divorced, careers, I'm talking careers, sometimes even lives ruined because of this one man who just spread that one lie saying, oh, you're a communist. Oh, he's a communist. She's a communist. And it's sad. And I feel like that's what people are doing now on the internet. They're just calling people random things and they don't even know what they're talking about. They don't even fact check. They don't do their research. They're just participating in the moment because they're angry. And this is going to lead to my next point. I feel like people, they misappropriate the usage of social media. They feel as if, they use it to just garner their attention. And I feel like social media tries to pull up this woke agenda. People may think that, we're being woke now that we got these tools to share our voices and opinions. But it's kind of going the opposite way. And what I mean by bringing in the woke topic, also going back to 2020, when people were posting about, the George Floyd protests and how they were against the police and they were against, racism and all that stuff. Some people were posting videos of themselves looting and rioting just to get clout, just to raise their numbers. And then they had this challenge where Blackout Tuesday or something like that, where they would post a black screen on their feed, basically saying they're blacking out against the police and for the Black lives, the Black Lives Matter. And I feel like people they were just doing it because it was trendy. And that's why I feel like we feel more disconnected on social media, because it's a monkey see, monkey do type of activity where it's like, oh, we see someone post a certain trend or a challenge, we want to participate in it. I can't tell you the number of Instagram stories I've seen where people were like, oh, share this if you love God. I can see who skips. Okay. Who cares if you see me skip? I am skipping the moment I see that, because what you're doing is you're forcing an idea onto people that may not even believe in that idea. You're forcing people to interact with your content just to boost your own numbers. If that's not the most sickest, most selfish thing you could ever do, I don't know what is. Because you don't even care about the issue you're posting about. You're just posting that stuff just to boost your own numbers for your personal gain. You're not even taking into consideration of what you're talking about. They also did this with, the Black Lives Matter movements. And they also did this with the rape culture. Like, it's always, oh, share if you're against rape, or repost this if you're against rape. I can see who skips. Like, why are you using serious issues as a way to boost your clout? Like, are you insane? Like, why? Like, why would you do that? Like, that's just causing people like me not to do that. And I don't do that. I've been guilty of it before, but man, I learned my lesson. Why are you so selfish and so self-centered that you have to use a serious issue in order to make yourself more popular? Like, dang, do you want the clout that bad? Is it worth it? Like, is it really that serious? Jesus. What is it about the internet that you just have to claim it so bad? Do you need the money that bad? Like, do you need the numbers? Like, why? Like, why are you guilt tripping people into supporting your content? It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't add up. It's very sick, and it's very disheartening to see people who think that they can get a hold of people like that. It just irritates me. It just irritates me to my soul that people feel the need to do that. It's moving on. That topic alone is irritating the soul out of me. So let's just move on. Another point about the disconnection of people on social media. We can use Snapchat as an example. Remember back in high school, people would send streaks, and basically streaks were, these pictures of a black screen with an S drawn all over it. Basically, you would send these messages to people in the Snapchat, basically trying to keep up with a score, a snap score, basically. So the more streaks you send to people, the higher the score goes up. And I feel like, I've been guilty of this, so I'm not even going to be a hypocrite. Back then I thought, oh, okay, this is, interesting. But as I got older, I had to sit back and evaluate and realize, like, half of these people I'm sending streaks to, we're not even talking to each other. Like, we're not texting each other, hey, how are you? Like, how's life treating you? We're just messaging for the streaks. We're just sending each other random pictures of an S or a black screen with an S drawn all over it. We're not even connecting with each other. We're not even, trying to get to know each other. We're just sending stuff back and forth to keep up with a score. And to me, I just found that to be very ludicrous. I mean, like I said, back then at the time, I didn't know any better. I didn't know the big sentiment behind it. But as I've gotten older, like I said, I've started to reevaluate it, and I'm saying, wait a minute, this is silly. If you're not going to talk to me in the messages, then why are we sending each other S's? Like, why are we having streaks? It just defeats the purpose. Like, why are we even friends on Snapchat if you're not even going to watch my stories, if you're not even going to interact with me? So it made me kind of reevaluate that. And I don't know. I just feel like I said, people just want clout. Like, people just want to be noticed. People just want to do things just to boost their own self-gain. And I feel like it's important to meet people in real life. Sometimes you have to meet people where they are because it gives you a better sense of who they are. And it lets you know right from the get-go their true colors, who they are, what their intentions are, and what they're willing to show you. Like, you need to have real life connections because that is what's going to tell you what to like about someone or what not to like about them. It's really important to do that because there are a lot of people on my social media right now that I've only seen online. I have not seen them in person. I've never talked to them in person. And it's sad because, it's almost like, well, why do we even have each other then, on our friends list or followers list? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, it just, I don't know. And it's like another pet peeve about social media is that people will follow you, right? Now, typically, I normally let people follow me first, not the other way around. Sometimes I follow people first, sometimes, keyword sometimes, but it's only like a small select few that I will follow first. But majority of the time, most of the time, people follow me. And, I take a look at their profiles and, if I feel like they're legit, if I feel like they're genuine people, I'll follow them back. But tell me why when I follow them back, I go on their followers list and they unfollow me. See, that right there was the trap. They used me to boost their numbers. And once they got the numbers they wanted, they discarded me like trash. And so I feel like people don't want to talk on social media anymore. People don't want to connect. They just want to use other people for numbers. On my Instagram page, I have over 7K followers, but that means nothing to me because most of them are ghost followers. Now, a good chunk of them are, followers I actually interact with both in real life and online, but the other ones, they're just ghosts. So the numbers don't really matter to me because they're ghosts. And I do need to go in that list and pull out the bad weeds and pull out the people that aren't interacting with me like that because it's dead weight. But at the same time, I don't really care enough about the numbers to even, I don't know. It's just, like I said, people they're losing connection more and more and more by the days, by the weeks, the months, and the years. I mean, Zuckerberg kind of revolutionized the way that social media plays a role in our lives. I mean, back in 2004, like I said, he created Facebook. And before Facebook, people didn't really think about social media like that unless they had online chat rooms, but that's as far as it went. I remember even having the Nintendo DS, the original ones, they would have the chat room app on it, and you could chat with other people that had a DS nearby. But I say that to say we've come such a long way since those times, to the point where, like I said, we don't even care about connecting with each other anymore. And it's sad. It's sad that people can have thousands of followers and thousands of friends on their lists, and yet they have little to no interaction with them. It's almost like, what's the point of you even being there? And what's the point of me even being there? Because I can't be a hypocrite, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we're all guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? We're all at fault. We're all at fault at this, because we choose not to connect. We choose not to interact, because to us, social media is just a numbers game. It's a competition. You know, whoever has the most numbers wins, right? Whoever has the most followers wins, right? And I think social media, it disconnects people because people focus more on the higher ups. People focus more on people that have more numbers, that have a bigger following. Like celebrities, they treat them like gods. They treat them like icons. People like Beyonce, Billie Eilish, Rihanna, they have high numbers on their Instagram pages. People eat them up so much. They treat them like gods, or goddesses in this case. And this is not me saying, oh, you know, because they're women, you know, blah, blah, blah. They're, you know, of course they're going to have high numbers. No, this is just me saying that because there are men celebrities that people eat up in the numbers department. There are a lot of men celebrities that people follow and treat them like gods. And, you know, it's, I don't know, like Tom Holland, for one. If you go on his Instagram page and see his numbers, ooh, they are sky high. Tom Holland, Chris Hemsworth, basically all these high-class mainstream celebrities, people treat them like gods on social media. And I don't know, it's just, there's nothing wrong with admiring someone. There's nothing wrong with looking up to them, but just make sure that you don't treat them like actual powerful beings, because they're not. They're humans just like us. We all came from the same planet, okay? It's not like these people came from another world, all right? It's not like they came from another planet or another galaxy or another universe. We were all born right here on planet Earth, okay? And don't forget that. At the end of the day, you have to be your own role model. Don't do something just because you see somebody else doing it. Don't get injections in your body because you see, oh, Kim Kardashian or Khloe Kardashian or Kylie Jenner doing it. No, don't do that. You can't look up to people like that because they're not genuine people. They're not great people. And I feel like this is why people feel so disconnected, because they're following the wrong people. Instead of following themselves, instead of loving themselves for who they are. We go on these apps and we see all these pretty people posting all of these pretty pictures, and it makes us feel inferior because it basically teaches us that, oh, if I don't look like that, then I'm ugly. Or if I don't have what they have, then my life is miserable. My life is trash. I want to get to that status. Why don't you live by your own standards? Just be your own person. Who cares what Kim has? Who cares what Kanye has? Who cares about how much money and how many houses and how many cars and how many abs and big chests and butts that these people have? Who gives a flying crap? This is your life. You have one life to live. Live it. Live it by your own standards. Why are you looking up to these people and expecting them to be your God? They are not. They don't even care about you. They don't know you. You're feeding into the trap. They're using you to get ahead. Be your own best version of yourself. That is the best way I can put it to you. And boy, whew, let's go to TikTok now. That's probably one of the worst ones of all, besides Twitter. So, TikTok. A lot of people go on TikTok to basically, watch funny videos. Basically, be entertained and connect with people, right? Sort of like YouTube, people watch videos to be entertained or to have some type of value, to learn something. But in this case, I feel like people go on TikTok, I don't know, to gender bash or to basically be racist, be sexist, be homophobic, most importantly, I can't forget this one. People go on there to be risque. Very, very risque. And you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And they get away with it. They get away with it. All these women and men showing off their bare bodies like they do on Instagram, and they're getting away with it. They're getting the numbers that, like I said, they're getting the attention. But let somebody ordinary, let someone who's very clean and modest post a funny skit or post something that's very inspirational. They get little to no attention. And I know a friend like that who is like that. She's very, very inspirational, very funny, and she can dance. But she gets little to no attention. And that's sad because, she's not doing what these other women are doing. She's not showing her chest. She's not showing her butt. She's just simply being herself. And because of her being herself, she's not getting the attention. And that's sad. It's sad that social media has stooped to this level to where you have to look and appeal to a certain audience in order to be accepted. If that's not disconnecting us, I don't know what is. Why is it that every time I get on this app, or every time I get on these apps, let me make it plural, these apps, why is it that every time I get on these apps, that's what it all comes down to? That's what it comes down to. People just want to be noticed so bad. And then you have all these internet challenges where people are inflicting bodily harm on themselves and possibly others. They're doing all these crazy stunts and doing all these crazy pranks that are putting themselves at risk. And I'm just like, why? Why are you doing all this for attention? Is it worth it? Really, is it worth it? Why must you do the craziest things to get by? And not only that, but people say some outlandish things. They say some controversial things just to get reactions out of people. And I'm like, why? Why would you say that on the internet? You know how these people are? Do you not care about your career? Do you not care about your future? Why are you doing this? What are you hoping to gain from it? Answer me. Literally. Please, I need an answer. Someone let me know. Because it's getting out of hand. It's getting ridiculous. And I already mentioned the gender bashing. Like every time I get on the app, it's always a man bashing a woman or a woman bashing a man. Like, oh, this generation of men don't understand what I'm going through, blah, blah, blah. Or, oh, these women today are so loud and so obnoxious. Like, come on, guys. Like, seriously, stop all this. Like, these are grown men and grown women acting like children on these apps. And it's sad because... And it's mostly people older than me. I'm in my early 20s, and there are people in their 50s, 60s. Shoot, maybe even their, 40s or whatever. I'll be generous with it a little bit. But these are people older than me acting like this, acting like children, acting like they have no sense, acting like they have nothing better to do. Don't you have a kid to raise? You know what I'm saying? Like, go pick up your kid from soccer practice or something. Like, what? Like, why? Why are you on this app projecting all your anger and frustrations out on people you don't even know? It makes no sense. Make it make sense. Don't you have a life? Don't you have anything better to do? I just don't understand the people that think that social media is just this one big playground to just be crappy people. It's sad that people think like that. Like, oh, if I'm not a certain way, if I'm not like this, then I won't be accepted. So I have to force myself to be this way. I have to force myself to put on the facade just to get ahead, just to get attention. Like, that's their niche. That's what they thrive on. And it's sad that we have to stoop to this level of insanity and absurdity to get the numbers that we want. It's sad, man. And I just don't know where the world has gone. The world has lost its everlasting mind. What happened to the good old days where we all would just laugh at a funny video that we would share to each other? Or we would all basically just joke around and type each other a good letter or a good happy birthday or whatever on somebody's post or someone's timeline or what, you know what I'm saying? Or giving a shout out to someone. What happened to those things? Now all of a sudden we got to bicker. We got to argue. We got to post risque content. We got to post racist content. We got to be as controversial as possible. Why do we thrive off that? Is that entertaining? Like, no, really, I want to know. Like, is it entertaining to some people? I just don't get it. Like I said, this is why we need to meet each other in real life. This is why we need to meet each other where we are, because that way we get a better sense of who we really are. We get a better sense of people's true colors. At least you know from the get-go who this person is, rather than having to, learn one thing about them on social media and then learn something completely different in real life. I just ask that you all just be genuine. Who you are on social media should reflect who you are in real life, and vice versa. Just love yourself. Love your bodies for what they are. Don't try to make yourself overly pretty just for the numbers. Don't try to flex your muscles just for the numbers. Be your most genuine self. It shouldn't take all of that. Like, it shouldn't take you to have to change yourself or have to inflict harm on yourself just to be accepted. That's ludicrous. That's lunacy. It's madness. It is so asinine for people to think that, in order to be accepted, I have to be different. And there's nothing wrong with being different, but don't make yourself too different to where you're trying to look exactly like somebody else. If that makes any sense. Be different in your own right. Don't change your normal self just to appeal to other people, because you will never get ahead like that. With that being said, I'd like to close out my long rant about why I feel like social media is becoming more antisocial. And I apologize for this long rant. I feel like at some moments I was repeating myself a little bit, and I like to apologize. But it just baffles me, and it just makes me so angry to see how we stooped to this level of insanity. We want to be accepted so bad. We want to be loved so bad that the only way to do so is to change ourselves. The only way to do that is to change ourselves to the likings of different people. And that's not true. You don't have to do that. Please be yourselves, guys. Please continue to be yourself, because trust me, people will respect you more if you continue to be yourself. And have some integrity. You know what I'm saying? Have some integrity. Have some integrity to where the standards and principles that you put out in real life, you need to reflect that on your social media, and vice versa. Like I said before, what you put out on the internet needs to reflect who you are in real life. I shouldn't have to meet you online and then meet you in real life and you're nothing like you say you are on your Instagram page or your Snapchat page or your Twitter page or Facebook page or whatever. The same person I've met on the internet, you should be the same person I meet in real life. End the story. And with that being said, folks, I want to thank you all for tuning in. You can follow me on my Instagram at Corey the Jokester Davis. That's CoreyDjokester. You can follow me on Twitter, Corey the Jokester, CoreyDjokester, and my YouTube channel, Corey Space the Jokester. Not the word space, but just put a space in between the name, Corey the Jokester. And you spell it the same way you spell it within my other tags. And with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope to connect with you all online. And for some of you, if I ever see you in real life, I hope to connect with you that way too. But I want to connect with you guys the right way. I want to connect with you guys in an honest way, not some fake, photoshopped or, plastic surgery way. I want to connect with you all more genuinely. And until we do that, I don't know where this social media world is going to end up in within the next 5 to 10 years. It's probably going to get worse. But hey, everything gets worse before it gets better, right? But like I said, stay tuned. We're almost done with the season. It's been one heck of a ride, guys. And I really appreciate you guys for sticking this out. It really means a lot. Until next time, take care.